riffs are too repetitive, the lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides and the cover art's a mess. There's so much here to tear apart. Listen to it for a week, now that week has passed. It's Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Garrett.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Why I Hate This Album, the show where we pick a song or album, listen to it for an entire week straight, and then come back here to tell you, the listener, whether or not we hate it and why. I am one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey. With me, as always, co-host extraordinaire, Teddy Roosevelt to my Franklin Delano, Timothy Richardson. How are you doing this week?
Oh, real mixed bag this week, Gart, my friend.
Oh yeah? Can we start with the good stuff?
Sure, it started off great. Due to some inaction on the part of our mayor's office, jaywalking is now legal everywhere here in the Big Apple, which I love. Because I, of course, always follow the law, which is why I'm constantly waiting at goddamn stoplights. But now that it is legal, I'm really enjoying being able to cross the street whenever I feel like it, being able to just dart out into traffic at a moment's notice like a puppy chasing a squirrel.
I've always, I was going to say respected, but that's not true. What's the word I want here? No, certainly not. Wondered. That's the right word. I've always wondered your strict adherence to crosswalks, and now that road crossing scofflaws can move about with impunity, I am very curious whether or not you will have the ability to eschew your sacred crosswalk and join us in breaking the law. And it's not that you have any issues with law breaking. Lord knows you're a felonious man. What I mean is I think it's always been a theory of mine that you stick to those crosswalks for some weird personal set of laws.
No, absolutely not, Garrett. It's because I'm a good boy and I always follow the law. Here's the downside with this whole thing, because as far as I'm concerned, this was not advertised very well. While jaywalking is legal, jaywalkers do not have the right of way. And these goddamn Big Apple drivers, they seem to be making a game out of striking my tender, vulnerable, flesh-based body with their more robust metal cars. Garrett, I was hit by 7 cars this week. And here's the thing, I stopped leaving the house after the first day due to feared injury. I was struck by 7 cars that first day.
Oh my. I was going to say, how did you get those cars in the apartment? But your thing makes more sense. Wish I was joking. I do think there's an opportunity for some messaging here, because you're right. So the whole new law, Tim, is that we will no longer get a ticket, but cars do not have to stop for us.
Yes, a policeman cannot restrain you from crossing the street, even if it's a highway.
That same policeman will not stop a car on your behalf.
Or get that driver in trouble. They can hit you all willy-nilly now.
We'll have to check with our legal department on that, but still, folks, maybe
you know what
stick
we
to
should do? No, yeah, we'll off mics.
I'm not entirely sure what you're going to propose.
Garrett.
I see. Start a reckoning. I'm not against it, but let's take it off mics. Okay, well, Tim, is that all your news? Is that everything that's been going on with you?
I've been stuck in the house for the last 6 days because of these car injuries. So
Well, here's the thing, man. Just go back to the crosswalks.
What, they can hit you there too? Well, I guess I could wait until it's a red light.
Yeah.
But no.
Yeah, god damn it. Okay, this has
point
been a tremendous waste of time.
Injured.
Yeah, no, that's clear. Timmy, for those of you who have found the feed, you already know what he's about to say, but let's get into it. Tim, when not dodging cars or playing your own human version of Frogger, what album have we been listening to for an entire week straight, as though your outfit doesn't give it away entirely?
That's right, Garrett. I have been listening to and dressing like the spooktacular, spooky album, 1990s GWAR, Scumdogs of the Universe. And Garrett, let me tell you, this thing definitely qualifies as a Spookvember spooktacular.
That was awful. Timothy Richardson, master of voices. It's coming. When I was editing that episode, I was reminded of our offshoot show, our Patreon only, Tim Offends the World.
Oh, yeah. You're going to have to pay a lot of money and also sign a thing saying you won't share it with anyone.
The world's first podcast with an NDA. It's going to give off the wrong vibes, but we're going to do it. Anyway, Tim, I'm super curious, dying to know. Do you hate this album?
Yeah, I kind of hate this. I think this, we'll get into it. Yes. Yes, I do. Garrett, what about you? Do you hate this?
I don't.
You, huge GWAR head. That is why you're so excited about seeing me in my GWARmer.
You got it. Listen, I am fucking thrilled to see you all decked out as General Balls Tista or whatever you are. Clever. But no, I am not a huge GWAR head, as we're about to learn, but I'm going going to ask you first, as is customary prior to this week. What's your history with GWAR?
Basically, very little. I am familiar with GWAR as a concept. I have probably heard or overheard some of their music. I find it weirdly generic. I've maybe have heard some of the music on this album. Who could possibly know? The only thing I really remember them doing musically is covers of various pop music for the AV Club. They come into their little round room that they used to have, and they would put on Carry On My Wayward Son and such in their dumb costumes in a brightly lit Chicago office building, and that's kind of funny. I'll watch that.
Sure.
I'll watch that. I mean, they're also wearing codpieces and some sort of like G-string, so that's less fun, but still not fun.
I mean, you have definitely worn all of those things voluntarily.
I'm wearing them all voluntarily now.
That is what I mean.
Oh, fair enough. Garrett, have you
I guess
ever...
also, yes. Sorry, listener, let's clarify that confusion. Tim thought I meant the other times he has done that voluntarily. Let's not pass that moment up.
Well, in my defense, I'm usually not wearing it all at once.
Okay, yeah, that is fair. That is fair.
Garrett, have you heard this album before?
No, of course not. Why would I have done that? But I do have a light history of GWAR, but not like any of their music. I, much like many people of my generation, Tim, I suspect you are the same and don't even remember it, was a fan of the hit film, and by hit I mean completely unknown, Empire Records. You ever seen Empire Records?
I have, yes. I'm sorry. I was unaware that I was allowed to speak now.
Fascinating.
The script does not have my response in it, so I'm answering honestly, as opposed to usual.
Trying to wean Tim off the script. It's going poorly. Anyway.
It just says vamp. What am I supposed to do with that?
Not what you were doing with your hands. It was not a hand thing. I think what were you, jazz handing? That's not vamping. Anyway. No. Do you remember in Vampire Records? I think Ethan Embry...
You're saying Vampire Records now.
It's the Spookvember Spooktober Spectacular. Fuck off. Anyway, you disruptive weirdo. Empire Records, Ethan Embry gets consumed by GWAR through the TV.
Yeah.
And they're also in Universal Soldier The Return, maybe?
They're in several movies. Weirdly, a fair number of movies.
Well, those are the two I've seen.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so I knew them from that. I think that I also saw them, like, they're in an episode of Beavis and Butthead, maybe?
Yes, they are.
Okay, so those were my touch points, but never sat down to listen to this. And we'll get there in just a second.
Super big fan, apparently.
Now, not hating something is not tantamount to super big fan.
No, but you are a big fan. Garrett, you're wearing a t-shirt that says GWAR on it. And you never dress up, which makes me believe that's your actual shirt. This is the shirt you happen to be wearing today.
Maybe.
I've seen you wear it in the past.
Ironically, Tim, it was ironic. I guess now that I've heard it, what I wear is immaterial. You're dressed like a demon from hell.
That's fair. For the record, I would really like a GWAR shirt.
Yeah, me too. Okay, before we can talk about whether or not we hate this and why, defending our positions, we need to understand a little bit about this band. So Tim, take us on a journey. Help me understand, because I didn't do a lick of research, so I'm very interested to understand who is GWAR and how did Scumdogs of the Universe come to be?
This band started out life as a Richmond, Virginia artist and musician collective called Slave Pit Incorporated, which is not the best name for a specifically Richmond, Virginia-based organization.
Do you think they have like a billboard or a water tower as you drive into Richmond that says like, home of GWAR?
I think they have a billboard that says home of the Slave Pit.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, but you can think of this basically as the same kind of formula as Elephant 6, and GWAR is, of course, the Neutral Milk Hotel. Any Hoozlebees, the story begins when Hunter Jackson, aka Techno Destructo, the main antagonist of the GWAR stage show, rented a studio in a Richmond dairy building in 1984 and called it the Slave Pit, with the intention of shooting a space pirate movie that he was going to call Scumdogs of the Universe. This was apparently rented out to a bunch of artists by a bunch of hippies that had just sort of taken over this dairy building, a bottling plant or something. It sounds like heroin was being done in this. Sounds like a
Midwestern Manson family.
Yeah, basically. Dave Brocky was the vocalist and basser for Death Piggy, a local punk band that had shitty props on stage with them as they played. Dave rented out a practice space in the same milk bottling plant and met Hunter Jackson, who began to make costumes for his terrible movie as well as some props on the side for Death Piggy. Then Hunter had a brilliant idea. He was going to use his movie costumes to create a second fake fake band filled out by the same people that were in Death Piggy that would open for Death Piggy in concert while claiming to be from Antarctica and sacrifice fake animals on stage while playing nonsense music. Garrett,
go ahead.
Guess what that band's name was going to be?
Death Piggy?
No.
Not Death. No, Chris Gaines.
No. It's going to be
Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Club Band.
Follow me here, Garrett. It was going to be called GWAR. That's GWARRRGGHHLLLGH.
GWAR. Now, in his defense, minus the animal sacrifice, Paul McCartney wanted to do basically the exact same thing with the Beatles.
Yeah, including the weird Antarctica thing.
Yeah. It'll be more jubbly-wobbly before we get into art tunes. What do you say, mates? No.
We're not calling the band GWAR.
Maybe Paul's got a good idea. No. Could try it out for a couple of years. No. I love the idea of John Lennon constantly shouting down Paul McCartney, who just wants to have a groovy time. I don't know, you've just gotten so serious, John. I don't fucking care, it's because of your goddamn stupid ideas. Sorry.
They put this plan into motion, opening for themselves, but at these shows, nobody stayed for Death Piggy because Death Piggy sucked. They basically just came to see the opener and then immediately left because it's just about the spectacle. So they stopped being Death Piggy and they renamed the new band to just GWAR, a shortened version of that horrible noise, and did just that. There were some rumors in there that GWAR actually stood for God, What an Awful Racket, but while that's an accurate description, it is not true. In the early days, they went through a bunch of members, but they solidified with Dave Brocky, aka Odorous Arungus on vocals, Dewey Rowell, aka Flatus Maximus on lead guitar, Steve Douglas, aka Balzac, Jaws of Death on rhythm guitar, Mike Bishop, aka Beefcake the Mighty on bass, Rob Mosby, aka Nippolis Erectus on drums, and Danielle Stamp, aka Slymenestra Hyman on vocals and fire breathing.
Vocals and fire breathing?
That's right. Now, I'm not going to go through all the lineup changes. I will mention a couple key events, but some other characters that will be in this band at various times are, of course, Jizmac Degusha, Sawborg Destructo, Bone Snapper, Grodius Maximus, Johnny and Joey Slutman, Sleazy P. Martini, Sexecutioner, Volvatron, Steven Sphincter, Mr. Magico, Cornelius Carnage, Pustulus Maximus, The Temptress, Amazina, GWAR Woman, and Sean Sumner.
And Mr. Black.
And of course, there's a whole mythos that is a cross between Insane Clown Posse nonsense and Scientology. There is millennia of space battles that seem to involve erections and such, which I was originally going to go into here, but the album sort of touches on that mythos a bit this week, so I'm going to refrain from now. And there's a Reddit thread that tries to summarize it from a few years ago. It's very difficult to get through. Just as a quick taste, though, so that you understand the history of music, Beefcake the Mighty from the planet Cholesterol, weighing 299 tons, actually invented music by stretching dinosaur guts across the Grand Canyon. They also have other similar cool stuff, slick stuff, neat stuff in their history.
Interesting stuff. Yeah, we're going to touch on it more to be sure. I did like some of those names, to be fair.
Oh, sure. Jism and
not those.
Cunt Face, yeah.
God, that wasn't one.
They released the thrash, punk, noise rock-esque debut Hell-O in 1988, which is mostly about how Techno Destructo had followed GWAR to Earth to enslave them in service to the Master's holy jihad against the universe. I'm going to be going into some of the mythos. I apologize. But they were doing this ICP-esque thing right from the start. This is kind of their whole thing. GWAR then toured the US, all the while they're designing these costumes and props and sort of developing this stage act. I don't know when exactly this started, but at some point in here, they also began to up the grossness of their show, including spraying the audience with fake blood, urine, and semen, which their audience was apparently into.
Was that fake blood, fake urine, and fake semen?
It was,
or was that
said
fake
on the
blood, urine, and semen?
On the internet, it said fake blood, comma, urine, comma, and semen. Make of that what you will.
It's not the good version.
It's not clear. This did result in some issues on the road, particularly one instance when they were pulled over by a state trooper who then pulled a gun on them after seeing blood leaking out of an equipment case.
That's fair.
Yeah, absolutely. They released the album of the week, Scumdogs of the Universe, in 1990. They toured the US and released a VHS called Live from Antarctica, which was, and this is true, not not filmed in Antarctica, and they started producing...
Neither live or from Antarctica.
It actually wasn't live. It was like music video. It was like a video album kind of thing.
Right.
They started producing comics and other ancillary bullshit. And then in North Carolina, Dave Brocky, aka Odorous Arungus, wore a codpiece with a rubber penis on it, which he called Cuttlefish of Cthulhu, a phallic hell beast hanging from his crotch, on stage, and he was arrested, and the band got banned from the state for a year. It did not go unnoticed by the GWAR boys that the judge presiding over that case had the unusual name of, and this is true, Dick Boner.
That is unusual.
Yes. In 1991, they had a cameo in Garrett Harvey's second favorite Ethan Hawke film, Mystery Date.
I've legitimately never heard of that.
They attempted to get signed to Relativity Records. They did not get picked up, in part because they arrived in full costume, and then Slymanestra Hyman thought it would be funny to break a blood capsule that she had concealed in her codpiece and then bled all over an office chair. I don't know why they thought fake menstruation ruining a chair would be a selling point, but they did, and they did not get the record deal.
Yikes. It feels like a wild card move. There's no way they workshopped that.
I think they definitely workshopped that.
Jesus. GWAR.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you get.
Yep. The Dick Boner Band from North Carolina was the main thrust behind their 1992 album, America Must Be Destroyed, as well as an accompanying Slave Pit Incorporated film, Phallus in Wonderland.
Wait, can a state ban you?
Yes. In 1992, they could.
Yeah, I don't think they can now.
I think it's one of those things, if you ever come back here, you're going to jail.
Yeah, we'll figure out why later.
Yeah. That album also involved them injecting a dinosaur egg with crack cocaine to create the mighty Gorgor, a T-Rex that terrorizes the U.S.
I love the idea. Terrible name.
We could call you Gorgor. That's pretty close to Ger the Ger Bear.
Jesus Christ. It's just getting logarithmically worse.
In 1994, they released This Toilet Earth in the film Skullhead Face, which was about an alien queen who steals GWAR's life force, aka their Gizmo Goblin, and then makes a creature from all the most evil historical figures, including Hitler, called the Flesh Column or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
After that, Mike Bishop, aka Beefcake the Mighty, left the band, and Beefcake was replaced, but Michael is not out of the story yet. Please keep him in mind. In 1995, they released Ragnarok, now with more keyboards. This one is, of course, about Odorous and Slymanestra being forcibly mated with aliens, a robotic and also Catholic asteroid, and AIDS.
That's a lot to tackle in one album.
In 1996, they were in a Circus City ad.
Yeah, they were.
In 1997, they got even more ICPE when they released Carnival of Chaos with some country and jazz influences, and then went on Jerry Springer to discuss shock rock.
I remember that as well. God, you weren't probably here, but there was listeners write in if you remember this and some of the weird shit that was on there. But Jerry Springer was at one time the highest rated show in its time slot every day.
Yep.
It's so weird to think of now, especially when you look back on I think some percentage of it, at least initially, was legitimate, but very quickly it descended into very clearly staged shows.
Yeah. There was this entire genre of these people where it was a cross between a normal talk show, like a Wendy Williams, and then just chaos. And it was weird. It was the entire 90s had this.
Well, they started semi-legitimate. You had your Oprahs, your Donahues, your Maury Povich walked the line, your Sally Jesse Raphael. I watched a lot of these.
Yeah, you were raised by television.
Yeah. And then, and your Montel Williams. You had Jerry. And as Jerry got more extreme, they got obviously way more popular. And then Montel and Maury tried to chase that a little bit while still remaining respectable and still actually having legitimate guests. Their unifying factor was their paternity tests. They were all finding out if you were in fact the father.
Yes.
But
and how good you could dance after finding out you were not the father.
That's true. That's true. There would be celebrations, often including random strangers from the audience.
Yes. In 1999, GWAR released We Kill Everything with more of their tiring mythology that I'm going to stop going into now. And then Garrett, inspired by the terrorist attacks of 9/11, they released a thrash metal album called Violence Has Arrived in November 2001. That same year, they also released a side project album called Diarrhea of a Madman. Unclear if that one was inspired by Osama bin Laden.
I will say, had we dropped off truckloads of troops dressed as GWAR, there is a psychological advantage advantage to that.
Oh, sure. I like your plan of dressing all of our soldiers like clowns.
That legitimately, I mean, especially if you couldn't see their weapons at first.
Or just don't give them only knives and also sharpen all their teeth into horrifying points and just...
Okay, maybe now you're literally talking about a Pennywise army again.
Well, right. Maybe we give them a bunch of PCP that they're required to take.
Honestly, most effective army on the planet.
Absolutely. In 2004, GWAR released War Party. In 2006, they released Beyond Hell. Around this time, they also started disemboweling the effigy of Paris Hilton on stage every night. Seems in poor taste.
It's a weird villain.
In 2009, they released the album Lust in Space and played The Gathering of the Juggalos.
Oh, that's a weird crossing of the streams.
It's a perfect cross, though. In 2010, they released Bloody Pit of Horror. In 2011, their guitarist Flatus Maximus was found dead on their tour bus as they tried to go from North Dakota into Manitoba of coronary artery disease.
Wait, so on a border check, the
I don't know
Mounties
if it was...
were like, all right, fella, stop with your jokes. Get on up. Oh, Sarge, I don't think this guy's breathing.
I'm not 100% sure if it was actually at the border, but it was like during the day that they were, I don't know, don't care.
Got another one of these GWAR jokesters.
In 2012, Mike Bishop, aka Beefcake the Mighty, or the ex-Beefcake, earned his PhD in music from the University of Virginia and taught classes in music ethnography. He would later go on to say that the name GWAR betrays privilege of the white membership of the band and explores ideas of race and class in the American South. So, Garrett, you were wrong. It's been really smart this whole time. It's not just a bunch of gross maniacs.
This thing is a lot of stuff. It isn't smart.
In 2013, they released Battle Maximus. In 2014, lead singer Dave Brocky, aka Odurus Ungarus, was found dead of a heroin overdose, leaving the band for the first time without any founding members, and the band gave his character a Viking funeral before Dr. Mike Bishop rejoined GWAR as Blothar the Berserker, the new lead vocalist.
Blothar.
It's got an umlaut. It might be Blothar the Berserker.
It's good. I like it.
Yep. In 2015, they opened GWAR Bar, an upscale dive bar in Richmond, Virginia.
Are you looking for a tasteful yet stylish place to enjoy a drink and maybe meet someone special? I am Odorous Ungarus, lead singer of GWAR.
No, he was dead of a heroin overdose by that point. In 2017, they released the album The Blood of the Gods. In 2022, they released The New Dark Ages. It is unclear what their next musical plans are, but Balzac, the Jaws of Death, is currently writing a movie called GWAR Must Die. Garrett, they have released 15 studio albums, 2 EPs, 2 live albums, 2 compilation albums, and 23 video albums throughout their career. They have released books, comics, or graphic novels if you're an asshole, GWAR beer, GWAR whiskey, GWAR barbecue sauce, CBD e-liquids, which are the most delicious e-liquids in the entire universe, with flavors such as Gizmo Goblin and Bloodbath. They have released children's toys, or at least action figures, and they have released GWAR-themed sex toys. For a bunch of years, they have had the GWARBQ Festival, GWARBQ, which is their version kind of the Gathering of the Juggalos. Now, Garrett, the long-term lady member, Danielle Stempe, aka Slymanestra Hyman, she is of course the one that did that menstruation bit at their record deal, is probably the most interesting person in the band. She has something called The Girly Freak Show that toured with Lollapalooza, and she set a Guinness World Record for fire breathing, where she does that circular breathing technique to do a continuous flame. She has also set another world record for highest human endurance of high voltage electricity when she sat atop a Tesla coil and shot 3 million volt lightning bolts 13 feet out of her fingertips. She also has an interior design company. If that's something you're interested in. It does not have to be GWAR themed, but
I was going to ask, is it terrible?
It's ideal if you want it to look like some sort of dungeon made of intestines.
Oh.
I take it you do not.
And does anyone?
And with that, Garrett, I close the GWAR history and tell you, leves.
In return, I will give you a Nancy Kerrigan, why?
Ooh, well then I will respond to you with a Blothar the Berserker.
Great, but you already did one, so your second one will, of course, be deleted.
I'll switch it up and make it seem like I did that first.
We'll see. I bet you don't. Great history, Tim. I was going to call you Jim. That's weird. Great history, Tim. That is to say, it's done. That brings us to general thoughts. Way too late in the show. I'll begin. This is not what I expected.
No, it is far less screamy and growly and incomprehensible than I thought it would be.
Really appreciated that.
That is not to say, though, that it is not growly and incomprehensible.
Sure.
The music is fine.
Yeah,
right? Like
fine.
It's kind of a little bit of thrash metal. It's kind of a little bit of, there's some punk in there. Some of it sounds like some punk you might hear in like mid-90s, like Epitaph or Fat Records albums. More Epitaph. There's a couple of things where it almost sounds like a Bad Religion beat. It's fine. I mean, the music is fine.
Yeah, musically, it's better than I expected. And most of it's forgettable with moments of like, oh, I'm kind of enjoying this.
Yeah. The vocals, the vocal delivery is, again, it's not as screamy or awful as I thought it would be, but it's not good. Yeah, this is no Amur, but it's not good. It's
not good. It is varied. I'll give them that. It's not always the same thing or the same person.
Yes. It's almost entirely too low in the mix.
Yeah.
They did do a 30-year anniversary remix of this where it is apparently somewhat better, but I didn't listen to that, this is not very good. Lyrically, this is where I definitely hate it, because they follow a similar pattern to ICP, but I think more juvenile, maybe. It's basically, I'm just going to think of the grossest thing I can say at any given moment. A lot of it is just like, well, that word rhymes. Like, I'm going to come up with like 9 words that rhyme, some of which are gross, and come up with like 3-word lines to sort of make this a song.
They will sacrifice any sort of logic to the lyrics for the purposes of just being gross.
Absolutely. That just makes it kind of boring.
It's also a waste.
Yeah, it's a waste. It's a waste of okay music.
Okay music mixed with like what at least could be like a very funny idea.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
because we'll get into the general like theme of what this is supposed to be about here in a bit. But if they'd stuck to that and really just explored that, great.
Right, because in the background, very similar to a ICP album, they're sort of trying to loosely have this plot of an underlying story about space demons or whatever that's just sort of addressed in like 1 or 2 songs maybe.
Yeah, and it's just sort of casually and don't worry about it.
Yeah, this is the sort of album that claims to be a concept album. This does not go together.
Yeah, it really doesn't. It's a shame too, because had they stuck to that, I'd be way more on board.
Sure, absolutely. Their look.
Sure.
Are they supposed to be like an evil version of Kiss or something?
They are, and this is true, they are space aliens, Tim.
Well, right, of course. They came here millions of years ago, and then one of them invented music with the dinosaur intestines.
Right. I didn't go as deeply into that whole thing, but they just happen to look demonic. But that is important. If anybody's not familiar with what GWAR looks like, first of all, what are you doing? Google GWAR right now. You can keep listening, but just look at 5 photos. You'll understand. But they are basically covered in like skulls and raider gear.
Yeah, it does look like, I think we've discussed this before. It looks like styrofoam props that was made in some place called the Slave Pit Incorporated for a bad movie that never got made.
By an art collective.
Yes.
Yeah, these are a bunch of very sensitive artistic people that like went way overboard on like the horror movie genre. Like the B-level trauma movies.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
And similar to Slipknot also, this could work on a dark stage. You could do a lighting setup where this didn't look silly. The problem is it looks incredibly stupid in literally any other context, right? Because these guys do record stores, like record signings at record stores at 2:30 in the afternoon in Los Angeles. And they're dressed in their masks. They're wearing, cod pieces, not much else. And it does not work even as a bit.
Yeah, the Suncoast video lighting is not flattering.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Now, I came to wonder this week, and this is why I don't hate it, frankly, because I came into this week thinking that they were deadly serious and didn't realize how stupid they looked. But I am beginning to think after this week, they're in on it. They know how dumb all this is, and they're just like, yeah, it's really stupid.
Yeah, no, I agree with that completely. The problem is, for that to work for me, they would have to lean into into it and do the concept album. This would have to be something about how they are scumdogs of the universe who have come to Earth to rape and pillage. I don't really know. But instead of just doing gross jokes in their
instead
songs,
of just saying, come.
Yeah, right, exactly.
That's our job, God damn it. We're the bottom feeders. You're professionals.
Right. Yeah, and also the other thing, when you think about whether or not you hate this, as we go through this album, I want you to keep in mind, by their fans, by the band, this is considered to be their best album. This is their defining work.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Oh, I expected shock and horror.
No. I do get the impression that like every album after this was just like, and don't worry, GWAR is back. It feels like we've referenced them repeatedly recently. The Darkness. Like if you were around when The Darkness came out, literally everyone was like, oh, this is fun. And then they're like, hey, we're back with another album. And we're like, no, Thing Called Love. That was it.
Yeah.
That was it. Or like it's a band trying feverishly, although they're not even one-hit wonders. Like that's the funny thing is it's not as though this band ever rose to like prominence.
Oh, we'll get into how this band, their best-selling album. I'll say this is also their best-selling album.
Yeah, I don't doubt that.
I can go down to the number album, like the single digit of how many albums this sold, because that is known because it didn't do that well.
Yikes. Spoiler alert. Anyway, what I'm trying to say very poorly is that this feels like a running gag that never should have had a repeat.
That's right. Now, we are going to start celebrating both Icy Pissmas and Quismas, so enjoy that.
What about like GWAR's Giving?
GWAR's Giving. That's delightful.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to do another GWAR album
this
toward
one
the end
counts
of the
for that.
Okay,
this one counts for that.
Happy GWAR's Giving, everyone.
Or we could use like GWAG Day.
No.
GWARmorial Day. That was really bad. GWAR Dependence Day. The 4th of July.
God damn it. All right.
It's very fun to do. It's kind of the stupider, the better. GWARBor Day. That's Arbor Day in case you're not keeping up. GWAG Day, Flag Day. You get it.
Part of this album is produced by Hypoluxa, who is, of course, Al Jorgensen, a.k.a. Elaine David Jorgensen, a.k.a. Alejandro Ramirez Casas.
No, you cannot.
God damn it. Buck Santa, Enchanted Owl, Alien Dogstar. Okay, I'm done.
God damn it. If somebody introduces themselves to you as Enchanted Owl, unless they're a magician, fucking run.
I think especially if they are a magician.
Female listeners, write in hatePodMail@gmail.com. Don't go to our website. I'm so angry right now.
I'm deeply ashamed of Garrett's work.
Me and HostGator are having some words. They've just
deeply ashamed.
Destroyed my work. They've destroyed my work. Anyway,
I went through the code the other day, Garrett.
No, fuck you. I went through the code. You don't even have the login specifically so that you can't destroy my website. God, don't worry. HostGator did it. You fucks. Anyway, listeners, hatepodmail@gmail.com. Are there still dudes out there hitting on women? And I'm singling out women because I just can't imagine that a woman would do this to a man. But
there's witches out there.
Shut up. Are there still dudes out there hitting on women doing magic in bars? I want to know. Because that was a thing like 20 years ago. Last I saw it when I was in college.
Look, you learn a couple of good close-up card tricks.
That's right. I'm talking about you.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Garrett. It was 2004 and it fucking worked.
Oh, gross. First I made a quarter disappear, then I made the pennies disappear.
Okay.
Right, fellas?
Okay.
And twins? You just turned into a Budweiser commercial.
You know what
what's happening?
Small group of GWAR fans is called, Garrett?
A quince.
A death pod. You know what a medium-sized group of GWAR fans is called, Garrett?
A double death pod?
A splatter. You know what a large group of GWAR fans is called?
A murder.
A spew. You'd say, look at the size of that spew of GWAR fans.
If only they ever got to that size.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's do the song by song.
Yeah, we got to get going here. Track number 1, The Salamanizer.
This starts off with what could be kind of Metallica-style heavy metal. It's not as good, but, you know, it fits that style.
In the style of, for sure.
Right, and then we get a laugh, and it picks up speed before the lyrics are apparently a parody of sorts of NWA's Gangsta Gangsta.
Yeah, that's a song I'm familiar with, and the multiple covers of, and that didn't quite work for me.
Yeah.
I didn't hear it, but that's okay. We'll begin. Let's just get right into it. Here's a little something from a god to a slave. slave. I never should have been let out of the fucking microwave. I'm on this planet. I'm running amok. I should give a shit, but I don't give a fuck. No. All right, couple of key things in the beginning here. I'm on this planet, so we're talking about an alien. Obviously, it's GWAR. They're running around. They've been let out of a microwave, Tim. I'm going to go ahead and say that was some sort of defense shield.
I think he's saying, like, I'm unfinished, right? Like, I'm not quite cooked yet.
Okay, he's uncooked.
Yeah, like he's a little raw, if you will, right? He's not like you, all fancy and civilized.
Right. Yikes. Sure. Some might even say he's extreme.
Oh yeah. Oh, he's definitely extreme, Garrett. He's a
like
salamanizer.
A Poochie or a Dan Cortez. You know, cool people.
Yeah.
Is Dan Cortez still alive? God.
No idea.
Anyway, nobody knows. Anyway, song continues. Burning a mall or two, blowing the load I spew. You don't want to fucking fuck me, I'll fuck you. This is your ass, and I'm in it. My man's sexy, fuck you up in a minute. With an axe, sword, mace, pike, you're limbless, and then I'll fuck your ass till it's rimless.
God damn it. Okay. Yeah.
I might have to bleep some of that.
That is about the level of discourse we're going to get with this whole album.
That's actually more coherent than most of it.
Yeah. If you would like to have a good soundbite, it should be Garrett saying, I'll fuck your ass till it's rimless. That is what we're talking about.
I won't go as far as to say I liked the line, but among the gross and disgusting music that is this album, this is your ass, and I'm in it, is for some reason very funny to me. I think I'm just remembering Norm Macdonald.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There are a couple of lines, it's usually the last line of a song, and it's delivered kind of as an afterthought that made me laugh a couple of times.
For sure.
So yeah, but apparently GWAR is on Earth in part to torture and or bang humans. The chorus goes, oh, you humans always screaming. Oh, as you suckle on my semen. Oh, and the shit is always steaming. A drunk, a pervert, a junkie, and a sodomizer. But you can call me the salamanizer. Yeah.
Maybe it's a metaphor.
Maybe it's a metaphor for their art, for their...
I was going to say for like the GWAR species, like terraforming and genetically manipulating humanity to make our planet their
absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's what they are doing, but I do think they're doing it with their dicks and semen.
Sure. Well, no, I mean, you're suckling on it, which is the third grossest thing I've ever heard.
Don't name 1 and 2.
Will not. In case anybody was confused, song continues, I need more, I need more, I need more, I need more. Given to me, more, me, more. Given to me, more.
Yeah,
so, I like this part.
It's got a kind of fun sing-along quality, I guess.
Yeah. So yeah, but ultimately he's asking you to give unto him your bodice. So that's not great.
I guess, yeah. Or something.
Your
soil continues. For his seed. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, maybe the earth is suckling upon his alien seeds, and it's not a gross sex thing.
No, it still is. It still is.
I'm sorry.
It's both.
He's out there masturbating in the fields. I'm terraforming.
Delightful.
Okay, whatever you say, Angris. Fucking humans. Song continues. My life is a luxury, so filled with hate. I got 50 slaves heaping maggots on my plate. From my fortress in Antarctica, I watch the world die on my Sony Trinitron that switched to Channel 5. He seems to be thrilled about a plate of maggots, which makes me think that we have been invaded by the North Korea of aliens.
Yeah.
Like, they're super incompetent by alien standards, but they have stolen or purchased technology far beyond their own means, and now they're fucking here.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, they're just sort of bashing around that spaceship, and eventually it ends up here.
We always say that if somebody has interstellar travel, that they must not be idiots. But if they just bashed the people that invented it and then took it, there's no reason to believe idiots couldn't invade us.
Absolutely. Back on the road, it's no lie. The stupid fucking humans pay money to die. Crushed in the pit, nailed to the stage, I only suck the souls that are underage. Now, Garrett, this is horrifying. So they are also a band, right? They're these monsters, they're terraforming, but they're also playing music sometimes. And when they do, when they come to your town, they also sometimes kill you. And you're an idiot because you're paying money to do that. Now, they are, of course, soul suckers. I don't understand why they must exclusively suck the soul of the underage. Do you know?
I think it's just a taste thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
I don't think there's any inherent value. They just taste better.
Fair enough.
Veal. Tastes better. I don't know what it is.
What is the age of consent for soul sucking?
There is none.
See, I think it should be at least 25. And
sorry. I meant the other thing. No one would ever consent to that.
Well, I don't know. I think if you're... Listen, whomsoever is preparing to suck your soul, I think should have to read you Miranda rights or something in which he or she informs you of your right, like, to consult to a priest before continuing at the very least.
But listen, I know almost nothing about what happens after a soul is sucked. Everything leading up to and including, sure, I'm your guy. Afterwards, I don't know. Are you dealing with a husk of a human? Are they still alive? I assume they're just dead.
Well, they're very dry.
The soul is moist?
Well, yeah, it's almost in time. Garrett, yes.
What?
Of course it is.
Okay, I feel like you were about to say something truly insane. That's okay. Let's put this on a shelf, and we'll title that shelf Nonsense, and we'll never get back to it. And let's continue with this. The song ends with the complete apropos of nothing statement. This deli tray is unacceptable. Which, I don't care if you like or dislike the rest of the song. That's great. Great way to end a song.
It's a very funny last shouted line, especially because it does not relate.
Track number 2, the very disappointingly titled Maggots.
More of a punk song on this one.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the first song, I think, that lyrically it's just an excuse to string together a bunch of like meaningless, gross imagery.
Exactly. I truly entered the first half of this song being like, all right, what does that mean? What is he talking about? And as the listeners are going to hear very, very abruptly, this is a song about maggots.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
Yeah, and also, I mean, it's just about being a gross filth monster.
Yeah, he says, vile form of necros lies rotting your mind, feasting like maggots, maggots in flesh.
Now, you're reading it like we're reviewing the band from F is for Family, the kids band. Vile form of necros lies rotting your mind.
Trying to give it some sort of something, man.
It is.
Vile form of necros lies rotting in your mind. You can do it that way if you want.
You should. I
can't. I lied. Feasting like maggots, maggots in flesh. Soon it left your ruined cortex behind. Now the maggot knows glee as it nibbles on your spine. It is not a metaphor. I think it's about maggots.
Yep, because then it goes maggots, maggots. Maggots are falling like rain. Maggots, maggots, maggots are falling like rain. I mean, it is, because on stage, they have a giant maggot, which is, apparently it's from inside the planet, and sometimes they feed fans to it in concert. Unclear if those fans are killed. I don't know.
I think they just go down under the stage, or maybe just behind the giant worm. Let's keep going, Tim. It might pick up. But I do have questions, like, what causes a maggot storm? How did they get into the air? And who wants to hear a song about maggots?
Now, did you ever see that Watchmen television show where Watchmen were sort of shoehorned in?
Yes, I liked that show. I
believe it is some sort of mechanical machine to trick people. Like, there's shrimp or something that were falling from the sky in that show.
It's been like 5 years, man.
Fair enough.
Tim Blake Nelson never misses.
Yep, he's a great Tim.
God damn it. You guys are everywhere. Reeking pus pools vomit bubonic plague. Bowels of the beast stink of puke. How to describe such vileness on the page. World Maggot waits for the end of the age.
There's nothing to note here. They're shouting about maggots and vomit and...
Well, Tim, you mentioned that maggot that comes on stage and eats people. That is the World Maggot, or some sort of king maggot.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. He's got a name.
Oh, cool, man. I guess the description then goes on about how they're ruling their earth kingdom. Beneath a sky of maggots I walked, until those maggots began to drop. I gaped at God to receive my gift, bathed in maggots till the planet shift. Now in the halls of the Necro Lord, flash of fear when he sees my sword. I rape his woman, smoke his bone, leave a booger underneath his throne. So he's a badass warrior, he's conquering Earth, and he's wiping his boogers on stuff. Oh, and he likes to rape. Cool.
But who's Necrolord?
Oh, I assume this is one of the Earth, or the human
like
rulers.
the human resistance?
Yeah, like imagine some sort of Skeletor, right? He's not an alien, he's not a nice guy, but if your choice is alien versus this guy, at least he's the home team, you know?
It's funny, I did think about this. If we were invaded by an alien presence, the hope, and naively we used to make movies about how humanity would band together in order to fight off this shared threat. I now believe we would turn into small factions and take sides with the alien in order to curry favor and dash the hopes of our enemies.
Well, it depends, Garrett. Are those aliens focusing on the Democrats?
Tim, I think there's infinitely more ways we can divide up.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
I'm just saying, I don't think we'd band together. I think we would become super divisive and destroy ourselves.
Yeah, they might actually have to step in and, listen, guys.
Guys! Holy shit! Yeah, let's keep moving. It's more maggots from the sky, stinking bubonic plagues, and frankly, there's just not much here. So track number 3, a very confusing detour on the album, Sick of You.
Garrett, this is widely considered to be GWAR's signature song. This is the encore of nearly every concert. They claim this is about their fans. Obviously, according to Slymanestra Hyman, this is about having to be on the tour bus with your stinky bandmates. And I mean, that's really what it's about. But Garrett, this is their most played song.
That's so weird, because this is just about getting on each other's nerves.
Yeah, and having stinky friends.
Yeah, which, you know, if you're on a tour bus, you're all going to get stinky at some point.
Well, okay, but these guys are wearing, latex costumes and stuff. These guys are extra stinky. Also, they're disgusting.
Yeah, they are. I thought it was a breakup song at first. I don't know how to tell Sharon I hate her, so I'm just gonna sing this here song.
At every concert, she never figures it out.
Right up front, sweetie. Right up front. And he'll sing to her, your socks they smell, your feet they stink. You never take a bath. Your nose it runs, you bust your buns. You always finish last.
It comes off as like a Dr. Seuss cadence, or maybe like a Shel Silverstein thing.
Oh yeah, it's very rhythmic. It's fun to do. The chorus, sick of you. I'm so sick of you. Sick of you. I'm so sick of you.
Did you get a sick count?
Oh, I didn't.
It's 80, Garrett. 86.
86 is almost 90.
Oh, sorry. 80 space SICKS. There's 86.
Six.
The word six is there. Yeah. It's confusing.
Boy, I gotta tell you, entire life, that's never been an issue.
Your face is gross, you eat white toast, and you don't know what to do. And just your luck, you really suck. That's all. I'm sick of you.
Sounds like a breakup. Also, what's wrong with white toast?
I don't know. It's not
as healthy, but a nice sourdough. My God. If I got the choice, what am I going to order? Wheat? Rye? I'm going to get a rye when I can have a nice fresh sourdough? Okay.
I've always liked pumpernickel toast.
Really?
No.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Anyway, Garrett, it basically continues from there with just a bunch of sick of yous. It's kind of...
but then it gets mellow.
Well, yeah.
It actually kind of turns into like a Rod Stewart meets Coldplay, or possibly Kevin's band from F is for Family. He goes, don't you know, so sick of you. Things you say, things you do. It's very confusing. And then he repeats the sick of you stuff another minute or so. But the tone change actually caught me off guard, and I enjoyed it. But that brings us to track number 4, the not a song at all, Slaughterama. This is not a song.
No. This has a really ICP feel to it with a spoken intro skit thing. And then scattered throughout, there's like these chanted lyrics that have almost like a Beastie Boys, like fight for your right to party cadence. It's very strange.
Very much an almost Beastie Boys.
Yeah. The first part is a Cartman-esque rant about how they hate hippies with incredibly dumb jokes interspersed.
Yeah, it's tough. Why don't we I'll read the intro, and I don't know if we have to get into all of the contestants, but just to set up what we're talking about, what the real Slaughterama is. They open it with a battle cry go forth, which is, give the people what they want, and what the people want could only be senseless slaughter of the gutter slime that litters this this nation for cash and prizes. Yes, this is the show where people bet their lives to win something big. Cause when your life is shit, when you haven't got much to lose, on Slaughterama. So basically, you've got 3 contestants. They're asked completely impossible questions to answer, and then they're murdered.
Right. Potentially ICP stole this bit from them.
Yeah, might actually be, because that does in fact happen. Except for those people are at least like bad people.
Well, one of these is a bad person.
Yep, but the other ones aren't.
Right, yes. The first person is just a hippie. The next geek is guilty of the following: a Grateful Dead life in which he's been wallowing, tried to tell us give peace a chance, met the National Guard and you shit your pants. It's not your imagination, it's not a bad trippy. Yes, that's him, it's the big smelly hippie.
Yeah. Right. And then he asks him a dumb joke, to which the guy doesn't say anything. And so he says, I'm sorry, but that answer wasn't in time. You're gonna have to put your mouth on this. Whoa, I blew your head clean off. Good thing I was such an expert shot with the National Guard back at Kent State. I bagged 4 that day. Fun. There's nothing like hippie hunting. My dad always used to take me along with Lee Harvey Oswald. Hooray.
So, is he saying that Lee Harvey Oswald killed JFK because JFK was a hippie?
I think so.
Okay.
But I think we can all agree that no song has more appropriately captured the horror that day at Kent State.
Absolutely.
No song.
Absolutely.
None
Neil
at all.
Young.
Certainly none by CSNY. Shut the fuck up, Stills.
Yeah. Then they make fun of like goths or art kids or possibly boy werewolves. It's not that interesting.
It really isn't. Let's skip it.
Fair enough. The third person is fair, right? This is they're anti-Nazi, which is a point in their favor. But the weird thing is they seem to embrace wholeheartedly a fascist worldview in kind of every other aspect. I mean, it's an ancient monster-centric fascist worldview, but it's a fascist worldview nonetheless.
Oh, sure. It's certainly not a democracy, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So the Nazi one goes, gave up pussy, stopped doing toot. Now you can't wait to give someone the boot. Elbows and knuckles, all you know how. Follow the herd, just another cow. Brain full of shit, boots full of lead. Straight from Hitler's ass, here's the Nazi skinhead. Then he asks him, hey, why do Nazi skinheads wear red suspenders anyways? He doesn't have to tell you. And then they kill him.
Yeah.
I was going to read it, but it's very lengthy and it just doesn't matter.
Yeah. So
it's not going to translate for the listener.
But they equate hippies, artsy goths, and literal Nazis, which is fun.
And those don't seem to be on the same plane. And also, they really just seem to be representing anybody who is outside the norm. It could just be a conformist anthem.
Absolutely. We should also note that in 1992, they did a special presidential version with rewritten lyrics about Bush, Clinton, and the Pope. Lyrics that I will not read here because I do not need anyone cutting that out of context.
Because I do not need to make further enemies with Bush, Clinton, or the Pope.
Yeah, different Pope, though.
That's true. Oh, that was JP, though, right?
It was. JP2.
JP2. Before we got Nazi Pope. Nazi Pope.
Oh.
Maybe they have a word from a Nazi Pope. Not like the guy they got now. He's pretty chill. Chill Pope.
Yeah, he's still a monster.
He's no crocodile Pope.
No. Space Pope?
Space Pope.
Track number 5, The Years Without Light.
I'd be real curious what you think this is about. Song opens, scanning the crowd, defiling the writhing masses. I saw your death impaled on iron fences. You're doomed to die on TV. Because your death, your bloody death, will never please me. No.
I tried to type in some of this to see if there was like a particular incident they were referencing. I could not figure out what this was about.
I think it is the GWAR army, or GWARmy, conquering the lands of Earth. And he's seeing a good bro dying on the field.
Yeah, the iron fences, though, is just very specific.
Yeah,
like dying on
like
TV.
Yeah, well, of course it would be televised.
Oh, sure.
Odorous Unger is here live on the front lines as I conquer your world. Don't bother changing it. I'm on every fucking station. Coming up later, the Salamanizer is going to be wreaking havoc on St. Louis. Honestly, I'd watch it.
Well, you'd have to. It's on every channel, and you cannot turn the TV off. They seem to want to make a Lacostier-like pile of skulls or heads or something. The chorus goes, "You don't know what it's like because you never could possibly understand. I wish you would. What it means to stand." And at that point, it's like a rousing anthem, right?
Sure. A battle call to glory.
What it means to stand, oh, atop a heap of heads and hands. Okay.
Hey guys, as we conquer them, don't forget. Yeah, heads and hands. We got it, Ungris. Always with the heads and hands with this guy. I like to stack them up. I make a throne. It's very intimidating. Heads and hands. It's so specific, and I will say, intimidating.
Yeah, but it's hard to get both, right? Like at the same in the same place.
What do you mean?
Well, it's a very
start with the head. The moment they don't have that, they're going to give up those hands lickety split.
Listen, I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying it takes a lot of work to get all three appendages. I don't know if a head's an appendage. You know what I mean?
I'm uncertain that I do this time. I really am not clear. If you got the head, the hands are easy.
Well, sure. But I'm just saying, like, why do you want the hand? Like,
to what end?
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you got the head, you just make a big pile of heads.
Sure, but you don't know, and this is his whole point, what it means to stand atop a heap of heads and hands.
I guess not.
I could just imagine being in the room and just like, oh, you have no idea what it's like to stand a conqueror atop your trophy of heads and hands, and just like everyone in the room shifts a little in their seat. They're like, hey, did he say heads and hands? Oh my, what are we doing? Seaman Pustule has a question. I'm sorry, sir. Heads and hands, huh? Yeah, standard stuff. Anyway, back to this. He's lamenting the death of his good buddy who died in battle in the Guarmy, and he won't know the glory of standing atop a big pile of heads and hands. Song continues. Yes, now you know it's almost time. Your world, your doom, your life, your destiny. To live for GWAR and die. Die for me. This is the Guarmy. It feels very Genghis Khan.
I'm 90% sure that Guarmy is a line from Andy Daly when he is L. Ron Hubbard on Dead Authors podcast. Just going to throw that out there. I think he uses that exact word.
Yeah, but it's like interbulated.
Yeah.
It's his own thing.
Absolutely.
He's got me all interbulated.
The rest of this song, I don't know what the years without light are. I guess that is the years they spend conquering Earth or something.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. I don't think it would
doesn't really get much better.
If you're a 299-ton monster, I don't think it's going to take years to conquer Earth.
I don't know if he came with them.
I think he did.
Okay.
Beefcake?
I don't remember. Yeah? Is Beefcake the sinner or whatever?
It doesn't matter. Track number 6, King Queen.
Surprising.
Yes. And yes, it was for a number of reasons.
Who knew that GWAR was a gay icon? Take that, Lady Gaga.
Yeah. And, it's weird because at this point, like, this marks almost the halfway point, and the back half is going to have several references to this.
Yeah, it's really funny.
Yeah. Now, I hated this song mostly because I don't know if this happened in your version. In mine, the song bounced between left and right audio channels every other line. Yeah. So somebody yells one thing that I know into my left ear. The next person is that everywhere I fucking go, life's a piece of shit and corpses rotting on there down below, and they all beg forgiveness, so I will give them this. Every fucking line, it goes back and forth, and it drove me crazy.
That was a production choice. A bad one. So, Tim, I'm very curious what you think this is about. I got 2 ideas. 1, poorly maintained genitals.
Okay.
Rotting on their down below.
Yeah, I gotcha.
And they all beg forgiveness for their gross, rotten genitals, and he's like, yeah, okay, it's cool. Or he just can't seem to find the right demonic alien to settle down with.
I like that, because that one's kind of romantic,
Yeah, he's got feelings, Tim. Everybody's looking for somebody. You can't just conquer worlds forever.
Maybe he can't find the right human to settle down with. Because he's gotten kind of a bad rap having killed millions of them. And so, a nice young lady, maybe she runs a coffee shop in Brooklyn. She's obviously going to be a little hesitant to want to settle down with this 299-ton monster, given his history, and it's, and obviously the rotting genitals.
You've probably Googled me. I appreciate you still coming out. Yeah, my roommate said I was crazy. YOLO, you gotta want to do some shots. Oh, this is gonna work out good.
Delightful.
Sexecutioner. You want to get in on this? Oh, yikes, odorous. Okay, song continues. Living in the future now, you know I'm moving much too fast. I feel that I'm dying, even when I'm living in the past. I think he's saying he gets trapped in relationships and doesn't like to dwell on the past and what's gone wrong then, but oftentimes he's looking back and he's so worried about what he's done wrong previously, Tim, that he can't commit to something new.
It happens to the best of us.
Absolutely. We've all been hurt and don't want to get hurt again.
Yeah.
The song takes a turn, Tim.
I was
Sisters feel.
If it was homophobic or homophilic.
Is that the right term?
I don't know. I think so. What?
Homophilic?
Yeah.
Homosexual? Promo. Nailed it. Gay community, feel free to use that. Song continues. Gay apparel, you put it on, suck in the marrow, and as you die, you sing this song. Oh, how shocking. How dare you. Dare to die before I'm through. Suppose I'll have to resurrect you and bathe your bowels in boiling spew. This is super gross. He's fucking someone to death. They die. He resurrects them and then bathes their bowels in boiling spew.
Yes. It's sweet, really.
YOLO.
Then we get some whisper singing, Garrett. Now it's time. Almost time. Now it's time to fuck me.
Yeah, so I'm going to keep reading because I want to know if anybody's got a take on this. I'm gazing at your broken form. Oh, I feel lost and so forlorn. Another death, another mess. Another shroud that I have worn. I think shroud is a person. Mm-hmm. Another box that I begin. Another grave you'll soon be in. I concentrate this lovely hate, but you're looking kind of thin.
See,
with much gay abandon.
Well, that's whispered, of course, with much gay abandon. I think what he's saying is that he tries to find himself a nice lady, somebody to settle down with. Again, maybe she's got a flower shop, maybe a bookstore. You know, he's moved in down the street. His family owns like a Walden Books, like a big bookstore, and she owns like a little indie shop. You know, she's obviously played by Meg Ryan. But the problem is that he is a 299-ton demon space monster. So,
see, I don't think they're all that big. I think they're big, but I think he was particularly big. Like some of them are just the size of like 10 feet tall.
The point is he's very large. He's much too large for this petite woman, for all of the petite women. And he unfortunately crushes quite a few of them. And he is sad about it.
What's the thing about the gay abandoned apparel?
Oh, he just has to say, listen, I have to go for it. You know, I can't let my fear of crushing this tiny, tiny woman to death, of course, stop me from going for it. I'm still going to go on those Tinder dates.
I agree, but I think he might be on Grindr.
Oh, sure. Okay, I apologize.
Song continues. King, queen, it's so obscene. King, queen, it's so obscene. He's declaring himself the king, queen.
And I'm not sure a gay band.
Yeah, like I'm not sure if that's offensive because he's kind of like owning it and declaring it his own title. I think it's a celebration.
May I read some lyrics from the 30th anniversary edition that restored the song to its full glory?
Oh, I'm gonna regret this, but sure, go ahead.
It's much too late now. You've failed to please me. For all your gay skills and your bloody gay pills, it grows till it blows, and I am the gayest still. And now, right before your bulging eyes, you died as you tried to get close to my pimpled thighs. You realize, my lover, you'll always be king queen.
Yeah, I think it's a gay anthem. You know what? I think this guy might be a homosexual. Good for him.
Yeah.
I guess. When the club's crushed and your friends are dead.
How about this next Pride Parade? We need to get some GWAR themed guys in that parade, right?
Yeah. Fellas, where you been on that? Come to find out, we're way behind on that. It's probably like a big thing. Anyway, song continues curiously. When your club's crushed and your friends are dead, then you'll remember just what I said. I'm the queeniest being that there ever has been. Dare you tempt the wrath of old King Queen? Now it's time. Almost time. Now it's time to die. I think he's saying maybe he's kind of petty and destructive, and he won't just kill you. He'll kill like all your friends in the club, and don't wrong him.
Yeah,
like,
he says,
doesn't. He did say he was scared of being hurt.
Infinite ruin, man falls down. Look at me spewing. You begged me to come to this town. I think he's saying, listen, you wanted me here. You guys all wrote emails. You said come to St. Louis. I'm in St. Louis, and with me I bring destruction. This is kind of your fault.
Yeah, this is how I do.
Yeah,
I'm the queen Queeniest being that there ever has been. Teeniest being that there ever has been. Queeniest being. Teeniest being. I guess even Odorous wants to feel sexy and petite.
Don't we all?
No. No, we don't. Track number 7. Horror of Yig.
I was surprised by the bagpipes that start this off.
Oh my god, this is a fucking migraine waiting to happen. Produced by Tim's buddy Hypo Luxa and Hermes Pan, aka Al Jorgensen and Paul Barker of Ministry. It opens with, as Tim mentioned, bagpipes, which are the traditional Going Home, a spiritual-like song derived from the second movement of Antonin Dvorak's Symphony No. 9. But over that is Marlon Brando from Apocalypse Now.
Well, you say over it. I would say very far under it because I could not hear it. I tried. I saw that this was in here. Horror has a face, and you must make a friend of horror. Horror and moral terror are your friends. If they are not, then they are enemies to be feared. The horror. I didn't hear a word of that.
Oh, I could hear it. Maybe you need better headphones.
Maybe.
Apparently, quick anecdote from recording this song. According to Mike Dirks, it was actually Mike Bishop and myself that went to Chicago to mix with Al and Paul Barker. The most memorable moment of an incredibly long night was when Al crushed up a bunch of Quaaludes and mixed them with cocaine and spelled out Fugazi in lines on the mirror.
Cool.
That's a lot of drugs.
Well, maybe they wrote it real small.
You know, that didn't occur to me.
Yig is apparently an H.P. Lovecraft snake deity associated with Native Americans from the Oklahoma area.
Yeah, it's important everybody picture a serpent man with bat-like wings or like a giant snake.
Have you ever actually read any H.P. Lovecraft?
No, I can't say that I have.
Incredibly boring. It's all this it's good imagery for use in other media, but the actual stories themselves, I just cannot get into. I can't tell if there's even a plot there. It's weird. Just not into it. I enjoy the concepts though.
Yeah, people have fucking done great things with the concepts, but yeah, I've never read any of the stories because people are like, it's not very good.
Yeah, and also he's a horrific racist.
Oh, there is that. Yeah, and kind of a creep.
Yeah.
Song goes, I saw Yig, he saw me. We're together in dark conclavity. Not a word. Any ideas, Tim? Any ideas?
Well, they see the snake man as they go out on the plane. See, this is an interesting, when you are a conquering demon from space who comes to Earth to mutilate, eat, and rape humans, it's shocking when you find out that there are already native monsters here, such as your H.P. Lovecrafts, your Cthulhu's and such, right? So you get there, you're crushing people, you're stomping a bunch of people in Oklahoma, and all of a sudden there's a giant snake monster there, and you're like, holy shit, this might be a problem. I guess
that makes sense. Well, he says they're together in dark conclavity, which, despite not being a word, I think he means that they're like, sup, bro? And the snake monster was like, hello. And they game recognized game, and so they just kind of left each other like ships in the night.
But there's still that moment where you're just like,
yeah. Oh, were you going to destroy Tulsa? I was going to control some minds. No, it's cool, bro. It's cool if you wanted to. No, please, you're new here.
Yeah, they square up as Garrett says.
What? Song continues. I saw Yig. He's so big. He smokes cigs. Eats just like a pig, say.
Okay, fuck this.
I'm beginning to think they may have mistaken a very slovenly man for Yig.
I think they're just finding things that rhyme with Yig because they don't really know how to write songs.
Mine was going to be more fun, but I think yours is more accurate. Let's keep moving. We have many songs to go. It's really just more about seeing Yig. So
yeah, there's maggots, there's pus sacks, there's rape, there's black death, there's horror, etc., etc.
Yeah, it's not very fun. Track number 8, Vlad the Impaler.
Okay.
Fun song.
Sure, but I will say, just like the last song, this is just things that rhyme with Impaler.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But who can't get on board with Vlad the Impaler, Vlad, he could have been a sailor. That's fun. That's a good time.
It's almost Weird Al-esque, though.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
He could have been a sailor. He could have been a whaler. He could have been a tailor. He turned out to be Norman Mailer. That's actually one of the very few clever lines on this album, in that that Norman Mailer did stab that wife in 1960.
Dude, I didn't know the full story there. I had heard Norman Mailer stabbed his wife with a pen or something. No. Norman Mailer, blackout drunk in front of several people, stabbed his wife twice with a pen knife, which is just a small knife.
And sometimes still not that small of a knife. And then he kept shouting to his party guests, nobody help her, nobody help her.
Let that bitch die.
Right. And then...
Which she would have had no one helped her because she immediately was rushed into surgery.
Yeah, and then they didn't get a divorce for 2 more years.
Yeah, and she refused to press charges, and he continued running for mayor. Different time, or same time.
Yeah.
Yikes. Nothing ever changes. Back to Vlad. He stepped back, and he smoked a joint. 20,000 peasants, yeah, they got the point. Mommy was a hamster, and his daddy was a jailer. Real tough childhood for such a fucking failure. He's so glad he's Vlad. Now, Tim, I think at this point, it would be irresponsible for us to not outline what they're talking about here. Step back, smoke a joint. 20,000 peasants. That's that time Vlad the Impaler impaled 20,000 people. We ain't talking about stakes through the heart here, people. An old school, good old Dark Ages impaling is a giant pole shoved from rectum to mouth.
Yeah.
The closed system of your GI tract becomes a runway for a log.
Yeah, pretty much.
God.
Pretty much. And then, of course, there's a Monty Python reference.
There is. When he was a boy, they sent him to the Turks.
Oh, hold on, Garrett. You are skipping the spelling. The V-L-A-D.
That does happen.
Carry on.
In the bridge, when he was a boy, they sent him to the Turks. But you know that they didn't like him. Because all the Turks were jerks. When Vlad returned home, his wrath for the ancients had spurned. But the ancient art of impalement was something that the boy had learned. So sent away for some reason, let's call it boarding school. And when he comes back, he's like, look, Papa, I've learned something neat. Look at my trick. Oh, God.
In all honesty, this is a pretty faithful telling of Vlad's history, so that's fair.
Yeah, but it remains unclear if that was a person.
Oh, so. He was.
Oh.
He wasn't a vampire, but...
Vampire.
Track number 9, Black and Huge.
You know I'm totally flaccid. I'm just a limp mega prick.
I do not sign off on this.
I mean, this is a song about a large black penis and interracial sex, right?
Well, maybe. Song opens with some moaning and a zipper.
Opens like a white zombie song.
Yeah, but with zipper noises and very inappropriate title. So obviously, you read a title called Black and Huge. I'm getting ready to make some dick jokes, but they beat me to the punch, Tim, and guess what? Robbed me of all my joy. Apparently, singer Dave Brockie was watching an interracial pornographic film and had an idea.
As one does.
It's not the same conclusion most of us come to, but he wrote a song. He says, you know I'm totally flaccid. I'm just a limp mega prick. You know I'm looking for a stupid white chick.
I think that says it. Let's go to the chorus. Because I'm black and huge, black and huge, black and huge, black and huge, black and huge. All the women hate me in the porno booth.
Now that makes me think that he is not having intercourse, but rather sitting in a classic New York City Times Square pornography booth where the little window comes up and you jay off to a lady in the middle of a room.
God, this used to be a great city.
Yeah. Thanks, Giuliani.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're getting...
store. Fuck you.
You have a fucking membership to that store. I don't even know what that means. Okay,
fair enough.
You have a card.
Fair enough. But listen, were there to be porno booths right next to it? 2 things.
I would also have 2. I would have 2 memberships.
Right, exactly, and also less children at that goddamn M&M store, so I would not have to wait in line.
That's true. That would be win-win. God, also though, I don't think those listeners write in hatePodMail@gmail.com. Do those live sex shows still exist? Where like I've never been to one, but I've had it described to me. Where like basically it's like a semicircle of windows and you put your quarters or whatever the fuck in and a little screen comes up and there's a lady on the other side who's like doing sexy stuff, maybe stripping. I have no idea. And you just...
I think this is just on the internet now. Like the
I don't know, but there's a thing about being in person.
Oh, sure, Garrett. Being in person's always better than being on the internet.
That's why I'm asking the listeners to write in. hatepodmail@gmail.com. Perverts, do these still exist? And now I see you. You're there on the ground, and now you know no. Yes, I'm raising a mound. I'm going to, got to, make you erupt. If I could just get out of this cup. Now, is this a literal, breaking of the fourth wall that he can't get out of his actual goddamn costume?
I don't know.
I don't know why I did this fucking squirrel codpiece. God damn it.
I mean, their characters, it doesn't have to be breaking the fourth wall because their characters are in fact wearing those as well,
That's true. I guess they also, that's fair.
Good use of a track, fellas.
Yeah, ends with several hays and moaning, some heavy breathing, and a kiss. Track number 10, Love Surgery. Open with a menacing laugh that's not nearly as menacing as I'm sure they'd hoped it was. And I gotta admit, they sort of lost me on this song. Even I cannot tell you what exactly is going on here.
Yeah, I don't know either. It seems to be maybe about dissecting and eating a person, and also maybe they enjoy it, like that German fellow that put that ad in that paper to have somebody cook and eat his wiener.
That did happen.
It's mostly just an excuse to say gross things, though, again.
God, he slaughtered him in that bathtub. After he ate a bit of his own wiener.
As one does.
Yeah, let's get into it, see if we can piece it apart. I don't think there's a lot of wiener eating, but maybe. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Your flesh is insignificant. Still, you dragged yourself here on bloody stumps. You recreate you, amputate you. You defile my womb. I think he maybe had a battle with somebody and left them for dead, but they didn't die. And they're like, I'm not done with you, Odorous. And they've fucking crawled on arm and leg stumps back to his house. And that's why he's like, you've defiled my womb, which has really just gotten blood all over my kitchen.
Fair enough. However weak, it's still appealing. A sight to send your senses reeling, to see your nipples stripped from you, tossed into my human stew.
And of course, you come stumping into his kitchen. He's like, well, funny you should come. I was needing some human nipples.
As one does. That's why you came to me. You were begging for love surgery. It's the way it's got to be. They call it love surgery. And this part reminded me of that goddamn movie we watched last Spooktober.
God, it's been a year. Yeah. Repo.
The genetic opera. Yeah.
Give me all nipples. I don't remember that at all.
Surgery.
Oh, Jesus.
I love surgery. I'm a boy who loves surgery. I think that's one of the songs.
If not, they should make a sequel. It is for me. I'm a boy who loves surgery. I think you might have just done the Berries and Cream song.
Yeah, maybe. Punks and priests, yes, they're all in there. A beggar's bludgeoned for their shinware. A bubbling cauldron choked with ichor. Well, I must think of something sicker.
It's people soup.
Yep. Anticipate the nipple rape. Dish is almost... Sorry.
That's the t-shirt.
Anticipate the nipple rape. Dish is almost done. The child has died. He must be fried. You humans, all the same inside. Yeah, he's just eating people.
Or it's a metaphor for a giant orgy.
Well, I don't like to say that because it contains the line, the child has died, he must be fried.
Well, that's not a metaphor. They're going to eat fried kids.
Sure. Now the cauldron starts to boil when I feel his anus heave. The undergarments start to soil. Now I know it's time to leave. When a demigod blows bloody sperm, he will not stop. It starts to worm, and may you achieve a maggot sponge hole effect. What?
Yeah, that last part's really unclear, but it seems more like a metaphor for an orgy.
And there's a saxophone in the back at parts, so I can understand.
I think it's a clarinet.
Really? Well, that's not
Didn't sound like a sax to me.
Okay. I do like the ending, though, where he just goes, ooh, scary.
Track number 11, Death Pod.
This is getting back to the story of how they came to Earth, I think. It's the rare song that seems to relate to the story they claim the album is about.
Yeah, it's the most coherent story about who GWAR is and how they got here.
All right.
It's still pretty unclear.
I think it's almost like a Dragula kind of thing, right? Their death pod. Death pod comes from the sky. It flies through the space, through the stone where the master grows his clones, where his legions wage eternal war. We were born in this place. place, slaughtering race after race. We were part of the Scumdogs of the universe. So it's sort of a, I don't know, Guardians of the Galaxy type story. They just go around, instead of like solving little mysteries or whatever, they're, raping and pillaging, as one does.
Yes, but I think that's the start. And that's what they're doing. They're pillaging, they're conquering, doing a real Thanos move there, pre-snap. And they're having a great time. They're the Scumdogs of the universe. And then, hey, the Death Pod is legion. Death Pod exists. Death Pod is coming. Death Pod is pissed. Death Pod comes from the sky. It flies. I now believe that the Death Pod was probably them, but what I believed when I was listening to the song is that Death Pod was ostensibly their version of the atom bomb.
Interesting. Okay.
In their pursuit to be the ultimate conquerors, they created a truly deadly weapon, but it turns out to be a disaster.
I thought they were kind of like, so they're sent to Earth, they're like conquering the place so that the master can come and repopulate it or terraform it or whatever. So they're smashing stuff, and they realize that they haven't really been doing their job because, again, they had a little gay period, and then, they fell in love with that lady that owned the bookstore. They crushed her accidentally, but then they got a nice lady on Long Island. It's the whole thing. The point is they haven't really kept their eye on the ball. They have not conquered and slaughtered quite as much as they have in previous planets where they just slaughtered race after race. And now the Master's coming in his Death Pod, and they almost kind of forgot about it, right? The Death Pod exists. They just kind of remembered, holy shit, it's up there in the sky. It's coming. And that guy's pissed.
Interesting. I like that reading. Let's see how it tracks. Also, do you think after You've Got Mail that Tom Hanks and Dave Chappelle kept in touch?
No.
Because they play best friends in the movie, and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Just shows you that Dave Chappelle is a fine actor.
Oh, yeah.
Because I just can't see them being friends in real life.
I think Dave Chappelle is sort of doing a Death Pod on a town in Ohio, where he's just sort of taking it over, like little by little.
But everyone kind of likes it.
Yeah. I mean, it's better than it was before. But the point is, this guy kind of owns everything.
Oh, yeah. Song continues. We craved more power. The wars became sour. The pod was built and millions killed. And something that could kick my ass. So that's what makes me think they built Death Pod in order to kill millions, and it worked, but it might have worked too well.
Oh, that actually makes a lot of sense, because then he says, sucking my scrode, blowing my wad all over God. I said, it lives.
Yeah, he's having a real Oppenheimer moment.
Yeah, I
it's
guess
his version of I have become Death Destroyer.
Blowing my wad all over God.
Sucking my scrod, blowing my wad all over God. I said, it lives.
Yeah.
Did you say something, Oppie?
The day it came, the blood was rain. We harvested eternal pain. The battle raged for 1,000,000 years, but through the burning corpse's pall, it was revealed that GWAR did fall, and we were banished to the stinking mudball planet. So I think maybe this happened on a different planet, and they were then just sent to Earth and just like, you got no spaceship, you can't get off the planet, fuck off.
Yeah, I think that there was this ongoing battle, not unlike the Autobots and Decepticons,
but with more dicks.
Oh, almost exclusively. And they created Death Pod, which might be some sort of dick-related weapon. We don't know. But it worked too well, akin to our atom bomb, the mutually assured destruction. And so basically they were like, you're banished. So GWAR fell, and these assholes got banished to Earth for creating Death Pod.
That's completely reasonable.
It's also entirely possible what they're saying is, hey, and it's coming here next. There's a reason they sent us here. They're going to Death Pod Earth with us. We're fucked.
Yeah.
Track number 12, the best titled, Sexecutioner.
Excuse me.
I expect so much from a song called Sexecutioner. I had such high hopes.
Basically no sexecuting.
No, this song is a goddamn disappointment.
There is one silver lining, and I don't know why I didn't see it coming, but it truly made me giggle. I'm going to read a little, Tim, and you tell me if you know which part I found great. Excuse me, but what good is all the...
I like the Eastern European voice. We'll go through it. Yeah, sorry.
Excuse me, but what good is all the violence in the world unless it is tempered with limitless sex? Bring on the limitless sex object and allow me, Sexecutioner, genius, to sexplain the seriousness of the subject. Now, if you will all attend to my words, you'll see. Now, any idea what I find particularly funny about that?
The voice in the Sexecutioner, presumably. Sexplain is pretty hilarious.
Yeah. putting sex into the words, for some reason, very funny to me.
Now, let me raise you one. Sexecutioner! Sexecutioner! I'm sexecuting you!
He does say that.
Yeah.
He feels very hedonism bot.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So accurate.
After he says those ridiculous words, we get slightly more serious. That is to say, he sounds serious, but the words are funny. I'm a naughty fellow. In fact, I'm certainly not too very mellow. I've come to this place to rearrange your face, presumably with sex. I don't know exactly how that works. And then we get a little bit of this in the chorus. La 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 la. Sexcellent. La 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 la. Oh. La 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 la. Excuse me. Etc. Etc.
Sexcellent, nothing succeeds like success.
I am from France. He is from France. And when you are from France, you pull down your pants. You pull down your pants? Yeah, out of nowhere, somebody called Sly Menstra, some lady, is doing the response. This is the
one with the blood capsule and the thing that ruined their...
The real jokester that cost them potentially millions of dollars. When you're on your knees, you will do as I please. And Sly Menstra follows with, you will do as he please. So it is, call and response about oral sex. Good for him. And then listeners, feel free to take this home. In fact, I ask it of you. hatePodMail@gmail.com. Give us a jingle jangle. Let us know how this worked out. When you're intimate with your partner, lay this line on them. Red Rover, bend over, and let sexy take over. That is only for certain couples. Others, that's not going to work out so great. Find out which one you're in tonight. Some whip cracks start popping up, and that's kind of it. After the chorus a few more times, he says, I gotta go pee. Like some sort of Forrest Gump.
Fair enough. And that's the album, because I don't think we should do Cool Place to Park.
We're not going to give any audio sample, and we're not going to talk about it. I will literally give you one sentence. The song is about them finding a place to park, or rather, being unable to find a place to park. Congratulations, you've heard the bonus track. Tim, that brings us to How Did It Do? How did it do?
This is their best-selling album. It sold 108,285 copies in the US. It charted at number 195 in Canada. It did not chart in the US or the Dutch.
Yikes, I thought this did way better.
Nope, not even gold.
So Tim, maybe we should have like a whole line of merch, because our numbers are vastly exceeding those of GWAR.
Approximately 392,000 copies away from gold.
Yeah, so anyway, perhaps all those calls for merch and t-shirts and stuff, we should actually do it, because GWAR has managed to support 11 people on this nonsense.
Yeah.
And we're way more popular than GWAR, apparently.
Well, I assumed.
I didn't. I thought they were more known. Wow, that's tough, GWAR. Anyway, what do people think of this?
Well, there are 406 total ratings.
What?
4.8 out of 5 stars on average, 88% 5-star, 1% 1-star. AlleyCat777 titled her review from 2023, or his review, Hail GWAR. I ordered this album for my daughter. We're extremely big GWAR fans. I have seen them 1 billion times, and I've met the band members, and I am so incredibly excited to give this to my daughter for Christmas. It came in pristine condition. It even came with a receipt from the seller in the package with the record, which I have never seen before. Very professional. I highly recommend ordering records from this particular seller, which is Amazon. 5 out of 5 stars.
Did you add the which is Amazon, or did he?
I put that in there.
Nice. That's fantastic.
Sherry Moore from 2022. Husband's favorite band. Watch out, Sherry Moore.
There's somebody out there for everybody.
Yep. Husband has listened to this vinyl nonstop since it has been delivered. Great sound. 5 out of 5 stars.
Do you know? I'm curious how much this record costs now, because there can't be that many vinyl.
I think this is part of this. They combined it with a 30th anniversary edition.
Okay. Never mind.
Gordon, 2003. This is a definite metal gem. Every song on the album is great, even if the lyrics are a bit too twisted at times. For example, a particular lyric on the track Death Pod about God is just sick and uncalled for, at least in my opinion. But if you're able to get past the lyrics, you will enjoy a great musical experience. The opening guitar riff on Salaminizer is one of the best opening riffs of a song I ever heard. Every song on the album is a gem. Truly not one weak track on here. I recommend you pick it up. Truly one of the best heavy metal CDs out there. 5 out of 5 stars.
I want to give that guy the gift of any other heavy metal.
But I just like how, because clearly this is somebody who is like Christian or something, right? The lyrics are too twisted. I don't like how they talked about God in that one song, but I'm able to get past all of that and all of the rest of it to just appreciate the metal.
Yeah, like if that was there's just so many other, how did they even find GWAR?
Let's do a couple more here, Garrett. Jake W., if you don't like the band, why review? From 2006. Other than, of course...
Wait, what?
If you don't like the band, why review? Why would you review something you don't like, Garrett? Other than, of course, to try and shove your opinion down everyone's throat in some sort of sad, futile gesture akin to stomping on the floor because mom and dad didn't pay any attention to you. This album itself is pure GWAR. Political/anarchic humor and violence. 5 out of 5 stars.
Political.
Political.
I love GWAR for the biting satire.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, like, why would you write a review if it wasn't going to be positive?
Yeah.
Now, okay, I guess he has somewhat of a point. Like, why in God's name would you go out to the Amazon website and be like, I hate this? Okay, that's not helpful.
Well, no, I completely get it, Garrett. Let's say you like Metallica. Let's say you like Simon and Garfunkel. And you're like, okay, well, maybe I'll try some GWAR. And you get GWAR and you're like, well, I gotta warn somebody about this.
Yeah, I guess the defense would be if you liked the other albums and you're like, hey, this is a huge departure. Or if you really like heavy metal, here are bands you'll enjoy, not this one.
Yep, Cognito at extra.co.nz from 1998 titled his or her review, Time for the Penguin Attack.
I'm intrigued.
GWAR has got to be one of the best bands in the world. This is kick-ass material. Any band that will molest a doll on stage and then sing about it has balls of war. GWAR holds its own. If you like good music, buy this album. You won't be disappointed. 5 out of 5 stars.
If you're ever using the word molested as a positive in anything,
well,
you're
specifically
down the wrong
an
path.
album review.
Sure. I think I'm going to stick with my blanket statement. Doesn't matter what. You've made a wrong turn.
Yes.
Back it up. Something's happened. Because that is, Tim, I might have just, don't tell anybody. I might have just gotten there from that review.
Excellent.
God almighty. Because, like, again, I'm interested in demonic aliens from planet GWAR.
Yeah,
conquering the world.
I am too. We'll get to it. And final thoughts. Let's do final thoughts now. There's not enough of that. It's stupid and gross for the sake of being gross. And it's not enough about warriors from space. I did not think I was going to say that.
Yeah, I either want space warriors or if you're going to be gross for the sake of gross, sorry, buddy, but I've been Scrody McBooger balls. Like, you got to go hard.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, and don't just come up with things that rhyme. Like,
yeah, tell a fucking story.
Yeah.
I made that horrible hummus comment earlier today, and that was off the top of my head. You guys are professional songwriters. This is all you do.
Yeah, we probably bleeped a little bit of that, but just know that earlier I spoke to Garrett today, and he said something horrible.
Yeah, you were like,
unrepeatable.
Yeah, you were taken aback.
I was.
I love it when I can do that. Anyway, okay, Timmy, that brings us to the end where we ask it. We've been all the way through it, had a moment to reflect and reassess. I think I know what's coming, but it is the rules. Tim, do you hate this album?
I do. I still do. What about you, Garrett? It sounded like you got there because of the doll molestation and how that's a good thing. Do you hate this or do you love the penguin attack, Garrett? Do you love the onstage doll molestation that you then sing about? Is that something you're into?
I feel like you're stacking the deck. Also, I'm very confused on what one thing has to do with the other. Why is the penguin attack that?
Oh, unclear. I do not know what the penguin thing meant.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, okay, I hate it. I do.
Excellent.
I hate it. It's not gross enough. It doesn't have nearly enough space warriors. I want Conan the Barbarian, but from space. And, maybe a monster.
Yeah.
I guess I want what is it? Planet.
You want He-Man.
Yeah. I want He-Man or I want, like, the World of Warcraft beasts. Those guys are kind of ogre-y. It's kind of what I was picturing. Did anybody see that movie? I don't think so. Okay. You hate it. I hate it. I suspect most people hate it. Apparently, most people have never heard it. I had no idea. But that's the show. If you can find us on the old social medias as always. HatePodMail@gmail.com is the email. @HatePod is Instagram. @AlbumHatePod is Twitter. Though there's not much going on out there those days except for hate mongering and rumors. But, whatever. I'm G Harvey Tweets on there if you want to reach out to me directly about some sort of suggestion or something.
Yeah, or if you want to talk about rumors and hate mongering with Garrett. He is mainly there for that.
What's your dad do? He's a hate monger.
And a rumor spreader on the internet.
Peddler of rumors. Hey, you want to hear a secret? No. You fucking hate monger. It's my job. My father was a hate monger. Anyway, ridiculousness aside, reach out to us. You can also find us on, we got subreddits, we got Discord servers. We're easy to find. We're on the internet. We're not, I repeat, we are not on iHeartRadio or Pandora Premium. We're not on either. Actually, we might be on iHeartRadio. If you found us on iHeartRadio, hatePodMail@gmail.com. Let me know, because I configured that 5 years ago.
And I've been trying to keep us off of there, so let me know too, because if we're on there, something screwed up.
Dude, you're typing in iHeartRadio off in a Excel spreadsheet. I don't know how that's going to do anything.
But then I upload it to the internet.
Fantastic. Keep doing it. Let's see. I think that's all the socials and stuff. We want to hear from you folks. Keep reaching out. We've got some really funny emails lately. Keep them coming. And if you wrote us a previous email and we haven't responded or read it on the show yet, it's still marked as new. It's going to happen someday. Christmas is around the corner. I'm off for a couple weeks. I might actually try to dig into that a bit. I say that every year. We'll see. Number one, I got to fix the website. HostGator, we're going to have some words.
Oh, and the goddamn heater. You got to fix the heater this winter.
No, I don't.
Oh, it's so cold.
Podcast fun fact, if you stayed this long, God knows who's listening. Tim is inherently cold, and I am not.
Like a lady, I am.
It's so funny. And almost killed me once. Because he was like, oh yeah, you want to wear like a long sleeve shirt to go running. I was like running in a fucking sweater. I almost died to rip my shirt off. Anyway, this has been fun and sort of music related. For Why I Hate This Album, I've been one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey.
I have been the other, Timothy P. Richardson. And despite the repeated rounds of sensitivity training, the DEI seminars, the many reprimands from CBS, even in this spooky season when he should be the most tolerant, Garrett P. Harvey remains xenomorphophobic.
I don't trust them. I don't want them taking our jobs.
They're eating our space children. Their blood is acid. You fucking disgust me.
They are eating our space children. Their blood is acid. They have weird tiny mouths inside their big heads.
God, you're a racist. This is the same thing you said about men.
Okay, that part will be deleted.
There's cowboys running through my dreams. Nothing's quite the way it seems. I joined the Navy, got kicked out in a week. My facial features aren't distinct. Try to find some meaning in these songs. The genius is a genius, got it wrong. No, it's a lobster murder sex thing. It's the bleaching of the rear. A full assault on both your ears. The riffs are too repetitive. The lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides. The cover art's a mess. Listen to it for a week. Now that week has passed. It's the Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Garrett.